Hi everyone, my name is Luke Pettit, and this video is obviously about my reflection of the 3-day social media fast we that we attempted to do and ultimately did. But obviously, I intentionally stepped away from social media for 3 full days. That obviously means no scrolling, no posting. Um, Notifications are gone for the most part. In this video, I'm going to talk about my thoughts on the fast, how I spent my time, and how I normally use social media, um, and just how it made me feel emotionally, mentally, physically, and whether I would do it again or if I wouldn't do it again. So yeah, I'll basically just talk about my overall thoughts about the social media fast in general. So day one, going into it, I honestly didn't really think that the fast would be too difficult. I didn't really consider myself like addicted to social media, but I also realized very fast how like automatic it became in my daily routine. Like I would get on my phone and I would kind of go over to like my social media apps and I'd like click on it, but it's not there. And Within the few first hours, I caught myself reaching for my phone like whenever I was just bored, and I like had some spare time on my hands or whatever. But I think that urge was probably the most evident on the first day. This past weekend was actually my one of my oldest brother's wedding weekend. So Friday, I drove down to Houston. That's where I'm from, and we had the rehearsal dinner, all that. So this weekend was super jam packed for me, super busy, which kind of made it a little bit easier for me. So Friday, like I said, super busy. Saturday was the wedding, so just with family and friends all day long. And then today, Sunday, had church, spent time with the family, drove back up. But instead of scrolling, like I said, I used the extra time to focus on things that I usually don't really focus on quite as much, like spending quality time with family and friends, and also schoolwork wise. A lot easier to do schoolwork when you don't have social media to take your attention away from that. But day two, I think day two is definitely pretty noticeable difference. I think part of that had to do with the wedding. Like I said, I think that's like an 8-hour day for us, which I was a groomsman. I was the best man in his wedding, being my brother. So that urge to check my social medias wasn't quite as much, but it was still there. But instead of feeling like that restlessness feeling, I started to feel calmer, like less, I guess, anxious. Like there's still a part of me that like felt like I was missing out, but I had more mental space and not like so much noise from the outside, and without constantly consuming other people's content, opinions, and different highlights from sports and stuff like that. But on day two, I also used the extra time for things like spending time with family, which, yeah, I was forced to spend time with family and friends, but I mean, I wouldn't trade this weekend for anything for the world. And I'm actually very grateful that this timing matched up so perfectly with the wedding. But like I said, I was definitely less anxious. And I just didn't feel like I had to just constantly be doing something and constantly checking up on people's lives. That really didn't mean much to me this weekend. I just wanted the weekend to be about family and friends. But I think that was one of the most surprising parts about this fast in general was how much I depended on social media in general. But emotionally, day two felt super refreshing. Just felt less distracted, like I said. And day three, the fast was almost feeling natural, kind of, in a way. The first 2 days, like I said, were pretty tough. But I wasn't thinking about social media nearly as much. And I felt more control of like my time and the people around me. And instead of like reacting to notifications, I was choosing like the best ways to use my attention, and that was on the people around me and not just my phone. And I think this fast really goes to show you like how much we depend on our phones on a daily basis, whether we're using it for good or for bad. I mean, social media can be either really great or it can be really bad, and I think it really just depends on how you use it. But I think day 3 really made me realize that social media isn't necessary for the life that we live. Yeah, it can be great. It can be fun. I think obviously getting back on social media, I'll be happy to see the people that like I've always followed and stuff, just seeing what their lives are looking like. But overall, my thoughts, I think the 3-day social media fast was more impactful than I thought it would be. I thought I was really gonna struggle with it, but it made me realize how deeply social media is woven into every single day of our, like, it doesn't feel like a habit when you're just so naturally just like gravitated towards it. But once you don't have it, you're like, wow, that was a huge habit of mine. And you just become so easily addicted. But I think being off social media, it really allowed me to just slow down, just be present with the people around me, and focus on the things that like I truly value, rather than just staring at a screen for 4 to 6 hours a day. And it also helped me realize that boredom isn't a bad thing. I think it was good that I had so much time taken up throughout my days to not just let me sit there in my thoughts and like just twiddle my thumbs. But getting to spend that time with family and friends, like I've mentioned plenty of times. But this fast really challenged me to sit down and just ponder on the things that I truly take for granted on a daily basis, like family, friends, and just be in tune with the people around me. But would I do it again? I think I would do it again. This experience made me want to set a healthier boundary on social media. I think it's very eye-opening to see how dependent and reliant I am on social media. The day one, I'm swiping through my phone, I'm going to click on Instagram and it's not there. So I think that's super eye-opening, just what kind of lives we live and how shallow it feels. But I don't think the goal is for me is to completely eliminate it, but to usually use it intentionally. And it helped me realize that I don't need the constant connection with the people outside of my life that aren't present with me to like feel a sense of fulfillment. And sometimes disconnecting with the outside noise and outside world is really what I needed. Especially in such a big weekend for my brother and my family. Marriage is such a wonderful gift, and I'm glad that I was able to just disconnect and spend that time, that meaningful time with my family, rather than, like I said, just staring at a screen for hours upon end. But in conclusion, this fast, it helped me become more aware of my habits, like I said, my emotions, how I choose to spend my time. Like I said, it was really, really hard at first, but at the end of it, I was super refreshed. I just felt more relaxed, and I'm very thankful that we got to do this, because I think obviously without this assignment, I probably wouldn't have done this fast. And like I said, the timing of the fast could not have been better from a family and friends aspect. So that's all I got on the social media fast, but overall it went really, really well.